Hey, good morning and greetings from the lovely northeast kingdom of Vermont. We're up here in the northeast corner. They got there up along the Canadian border. We're staying here for a couple of days. I had hiked over into New Hampshire just to go back and revisit a bog that I hadn't really found anything interesting in last time I was there. It was a little bit more interesting this time around. Right now we're looking out over our lovely little wetland here. Forest makeup around here is actually pretty interesting. You get some tamarack. You actually have a bunch of these Thuya occidentalis, these so-called white cedars, growing in a forest setting, which I'm not used to seeing. Usually I'm used to seeing them in swamps and bogs. We're going to take a look around here. Supposedly, this is an absolutely legendary location to search for orchids, which I'm interested in. Right now, though, you get something pretty nice. Not an orchid. You get a little species of skullcap here, the family Scutellaria, a little Scutellaria. Not sure what species. I don't really get into it with these ones. I think this one's Marsh Skullcap is what they call this one, and I can put the scientific name there for you. But Scutellaria is the genus, Scutellaria is the family, Lysimachia is the order, which you should get with the opposite leaves, bilaterally symmetrical flowers. It's pretty nice. You peel this guy back, and you'd, all the reproductive, the stamens, the style would be down in there. I don't really feel like ripping this guy open and showing you, just because these are just coming out right now. Actually, got plenty of those little skull caps, hanging around here. What you got there? Looks like a loose strife. You get some kind of loose strife, some species of Lysimachia. Not the world loose strife though, different species. Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. Check it out. You get Drosera rotundifolia too. You get three interesting little carnivorous plant. You never know what you're gonna find when you start fooling around. So this is just the beginning. We already saw we've already seen some nice stuff. That'll be a little bit different when we get up the mountain. This will be the intro. Drosera, in case you don't know, is commonly called Sundew. It's a carnivorous plant. You get it whenever you get the nutrient poor communities. Not terribly rare. This is probably the most widespread species right here. This is rotundifolia. Surprised these guys aren't in bloom, but I think those might be the flowers in bud right there. Very interesting. There's the leaves on that Thuya occidentalis, if you were curious. So I'll snap a few pictures while I'm here, and then I'll probably I'll get going, because not a terribly long hike, but we've been getting the thunderstorms every afternoon, and I'd prefer not to submit myself to that for the millionth time in a row. So we're at the end of the hike, but I'm going to edit this in right after I just talked about the Scutellaria, the Drosera, all that good stuff. This is a cool, somewhat rare in the region, species of Lobelia. This is Lobelia kalmii. Kalm's Lobelia. Got the same thing going on here as most Lobelia. You get the 3 lobes pointed down, 2 lobes pointed up. You guys are just opening up for the season, it looks like. And then nothing but a few alternate linear leaves. Almost kind of tricks you into thinking it's a Scutellaria, one of the skull caps. Get them over there. One of those scrophs, but nope, this is in Campanulaceae. We end up seeing another plant in Campanulaceae later on in the video, actual Campanula, the type genus. Just wanted to throw this guy in here real quick because Lobelias are really cool. They get the whole secondary pollen presentation going on. This appears to be so early in the bloom. I don't even think these guys have stuck their little reproductive structures out yet. But you gotta love Lobelia. You really do. It's one of those genera that's just really easy to love. Not too many of them. Lobelia spicata, Lobelia cardinalis, in the region that is. Lobelia dortmanii, which is another kind of restricted range one, and then Lobelia syphilitica, which common as you go south, but pretty it doesn't really trend northward as far as I'm aware. Anyway, on with the rest of our video. ain't no super strong necessity to spend too long on this guy, but this is a monotrope. I was talking yesterday about Ophelia secunda, which is another monotrope that is in the subfamily Monotropoideae of the family Ericaceae. This is a pretty common one. This is just Pyrola elliptica, but something to show you. Just zoom in even more. Get that. There we go. That'll work. Just how nice and interesting those stamens are up there, with that stigma and style hanging below. We saw that on the Ophelia. Pretty interesting. I like how these look. So this right here is an orchid. However, it's a non-native one. This is our old Nemesis epipactis hellbrain, still in bud. Just, it's got all the leaves. The broad-leaved hellbrain is what they call this, so you get the idea. And just, for the context, this is another area where you're talking, you're getting that calcareous rock underneath. You get the, I don't know if this specifically is slate or shale. You can always correct it below, which I will be more than happy to do. But, a thought occurred to me, orchids are pretty interesting even when they're not in bloom. You can, find those seed pods and you still make a pretty strong guess as to what you were looking at. So we'll see what's going on. I've been up here for a day or two now, and it's beautiful. But you get the same. You get to this area this far north in New England, and number one, it's weird for me because most of the people on this trail are speaking French, and number two, you get a lot of that just torn apart Trump signs and "Make America Great" just sticking out of derelict or otherwise uninhabitable buildings and businesses. Lots of closed businesses, man. Lots of closed businesses, lots of Trump signs. And northern New England's northern New England no matter where you go, I suppose, even here in Vermont. Okay, so what we got here, actually we got two of them, is a cute little Platanthera orchid. And yesterday I was shooting a video down in that bog. The species I was expecting to see is a species called Coeloglossum viridi, and the species that I thought I might be looking at is Platanthera huronensis or Platanthera aquilonis. I just consulted some literature, and apparently Coeloglossum aside, that might have been Coeloglossum viridi that I saw yesterday. I'll have to figure that out when I get to it. A lot of these green-flowered Platantheras, they're in a species complex called the Platanthera hyperborea complex. So Platanthera hyperborea is a synonym that could apply supposedly to a number of these, boreal, or should I say circumboreal, that is occurring at high latitudes around the world. Species of orchid. A lot of species of Platanthera, more species of Platanthera, than any other genus of orchid up here in the Northeast. Super species rich genera. Now that I'm looking around, I can actually see you got a few others popped up behind me here, but I'll focus on these two. These are nice. These actually look a lot better than the specimens of orchid I was looking at yesterday. So my guess for this one is Platanthera aquilonis. It's got a long spur, which a nectar spur, which I'll get in there to show you in a second, and then it's also scentless. Which leads me to believe the fact that this doesn't look like what I was looking at yesterday leads me to believe that I was looking at Coeloglossum viridi yesterday, which is not even, I believe, an accepted name for even that species right now. So these guys are just chilling here, coming out of the side of a log, taking advantage of whatever nice, mushroom. I'll show you the other one actually. Here's his partner in crime right here. We'll keep the focus on this one because this one's in slightly better lighting. So as you can see, this is just a nice spike of flowers. What's going on here? I might as well just get into the flower morphology. I'll just take this off for a moment. We'll just get into the morphology, the flowers. So here is the best I can do to sort of show you. Come on. Now this is going to be a nightmare. Just bear with me, folks. Alright, there we go. So there's one of those individual flowers. You can see, you can get in there. Hey, come on. Yeah, there we go. That's the Lobelia hanging down below. You can see they've got these, I'll put little arrows. They get these nice bracts that subtend each flower. I'll come around the side here. How zoomed in can I get? There we go. I apologize. So you can see a little spur. It's that nectar spur coming off the bottom. Ovary in there. It's a pretty interesting little flower. Those are the ones still in bud. Zoom back out. A couple of alternating leaves on it. Fairly green for an orchid. I mean, these things are probably about, yeah, maybe 6-7 inches high. Not too big, but certainly, I noticed them right away. I didn't have to really hunt for these. Some of the other species that they've got growing on the slope, which again, this calcareous slope underladen by some sort of sedimentary rock that I'll have to figure out later, is what's allowing these to grow here. I've seen Epipactis helbrine before on slopes in the whites, but you don't really get many orchids in the mountains of New Hampshire just because that bedrock is just not what they're looking for. This is nice, nutritious bedrock. You get blue cohosh going up everywhere. You get trilliums everywhere. It's a really rich site. So I think on that note, we're going to wrap up at this spot, and we'll see what else is going on around here. In fact, here's some of that blue cohosh right there. You don't generally see that much in the White Mountains. Anyway, we'll continue on. Now this is something I've not ever seen. You've got a Thuja occidentalis growing on a very steep and severe drop-off. Oh my goodness, growing out of the side of a cliff. How about that? Not something I typically associate that that species with. Over here. Get away from that ledge. Over here you got another species of monotrope, another species of Pyrola. Right here you've got this is Pyrola americana. This one's got a little bit smaller, round leaves with a little bit more acute venation. How about that? Lots of fungal growth going on around here. Lots of plants taking advantage of said fungal growth. It's a good time, It's a very good time. And there's two spent Cypripedium orchids. I'd wager, I guess, that these are Cypripedium McCall, but given the substrate here, it could have been, the only other one I think they could have been is Cypripedium reginae, but I don't think that's quite right. I think these are Call. They do have, collections of all 4 species of Cypripedium native to New England here. But if we're seeing Cypripedium McCall, that would suggest to me that we're transitioning to a more acidic substrate, and that might not be what we want, given what we're looking for. Of course, I could be completely wrong. These could be a different species, but yeah, worth pointing out for now. Okay, so we're here on the outlook, and the geology has in fact changed from sedimentary to volcanic. We're on granite right now, looking out across at a granite cliff. In fact, standing on what would look like from the other end of granite cliff. And down below us would be Lake Willoughby. And the combination of geology here, you actually have a third factor in the geology. You have glaciation as well. So somewhat similar to Franconia Notch with the granite half dome, and then the U-shaped valley between it. You also have a U-shaped valley down here below. A bit more dramatic looking, a bit more, what's the word I would be looking for? Comparatively steep. However, the elevations we're dealing with are not, not as high. Cannon Mountain, that Franconia cliff goes up to about 4,000 feet. And right here, I believe we'd be at about, 2,200 feet with the valley below us. Obviously, probably not even in excess of 700 or 800 feet below us, but nevertheless a beautiful view, and certainly interesting to note the differences in geology that you get throughout here. I'm going to turn the camera on in a second. You got a cool plant growing just behind me, coming up right out of the side of the cliff. And right here in front of us, coming out right from the side of the cliff, is a member of the family Comparative in the order Asterales. So same order as sunflowers, different family, same family as like Lobelia and all that good stuff. What we're looking at right here is Campanula rotundifolia, which is hilarious because it doesn't have rotund, leaves. Rotundifolia would mean round leaves. It has some very narrow, thin, linear leaves. Another circumboreal plant. In fact, I mean, not even circumboreal, just found in temperate regions throughout the, found in temperate regions throughout the world, especially here in the eastern half of the U.S. I think you get it in the Midwest. And then it's the national flower of Scotland, of all things. Okay, I hope you guys can forgive me for this one. I made a little mistake. The wording of the Wikipedia article for Campanula rotundifolia reads something along the lines of, in Scotland it is known as the Scotch harebell. It is also the national floral emblem of Sweden, and somehow I got that mixed up in my head, and I assumed that this was the national flower of Scotland. National flower of Scotland is Cirsium vulgare. We know it here in the United States as bull thistle, where it's a pain in the ass invasive species, but over there in Europe, it's a beautiful and wonderful part of their ecology. Just wanted to clarify that real quick. And we're still, coming up with the... Still coming up under Thuja occidentalis, growing on the edge of a cliff. Growing up, we're on that same outlook I was just on. You still get Thuja occidentalis growing out, which is blowing my mind because I'm so used to seeing this thing just as a tree in a swamp, not as a mountainside tree. Pretty interesting. Yeah, you got a real cool fern here, one that I believe is in the family Ophioglossacea, one of the in the same family as adder's tongues and everything. Why I think that? It's because you have the one stem with the two dimorphic leaves, and then there are those spores up there. The dimorphic leaves just means that it's not producing its spores on its vegetative leaves. It has a fertile frond, and then it has a vegetative frond. This wouldn't be Ophioglossum. This would be a species of Botrachum if it is indeed what I think it is. And that whole the Ophioglossacea. They're just cool. I'm gonna butcher this. They're their own clade of ferns, basically. They're all dimorphic. They all have the dimorphic leaves. They oh god, is it leptosporangia or eusporangia? I believe that they're eusporangiate ferns, meaning that they produce the two types of spores. So they're a bit different, a bit more primitive, quote unquote, than your typical like bracken fern or something like that. Anyway, get a close up on those lovely, oh my god, lovely leaves. I've been getting into ferns a little bit, About 90% sure this is Botrachum. It could be some other cool fern. Anything with the dimorphic leaves, especially branching off the same stem like that, is usually one of the more interesting to me, at least morphologically, of the ferns. They don't all look the same, And hey, look, you've got a native honeysuckle here. Dirivella lanicera, I believe, is or Dirivella lanicera. Lanicera is the other genus in honeysuckle. It's the other genus of honeysuckle. Most of those are invasive, though. In fact, a lot of them are. This one, however, is one of the nice native ones. Get the face view there. Remember, I think, yeah, these are Caprifoliaceae too. I wonder if they all do the twin thing, the twin flower thing. Sorry, I'm trying to get the thing in focus, like we saw with the Linnea borealis. Obviously that was an herbaceous plant. This is, well, these do grow into low shrubs, but no scent. A lot of honeysuckles smell really good. The little blobby stigma there, that's pretty nice. Northeast Kingdom, I was kind of, there are the leaves, opposite leaves. I was kind of ripping on the Northeast Kingdom. It's pretty nice up here. They lean into the whole kingdom thing. You get people with statues of wizards and dragons and stuff. It's pretty nice. There's another one right there. We're almost up near the summit now. We've transitioned into something much more familiar to me. You've got your Betula cordifolia. You've got your Acer pennsylvanica. Your right there, Acer pennsylvanica. And then you've got your spruce trees,
Abies, or Pisces, I should say. I'm sure you get Abies here too. In fact, what is this? Is this Abies right here? Yeah, you got your firs too. So pretty typical forest makeup I'm familiar with, because we're on the granite now. So you're getting that more stuff that we'd see in New Hampshire. You know, the mixed hardwood conifer forest, where I'm sure you get some maples in here, some other species of maples in here too. But you know, we're wrapping it up, but not too bad up here really. We'll go back down. There's a cool, somewhat rare lobelia that's supposed to be, or at least rare in the region. Oh, that's completely out of focus. I'm sorry. Around here, down back at the base where I started. We might go poke around down there and see what we can do. If not, we might get close to wrapping up. I'm going to hit this summit. We'll see what, if anything, is going on up there. And then that'll be that. So a thought occurred to me as I'm pretty much getting ready to wrap the video up. I haven't really shown you, what this rock type that makes this area so special is. Just ran into a nice family. I think I was aggravating the boyfriend of the family just by talking about plants, talking about geology. He's like, oh no, I don't know, looks like granite. I mean, there is granite up here. The entire summit of this mountain is granite, but the southern half, which we're now back on, I'm almost back down, is all made up of this, somewhat, I guess, metamorphosed sedimentary rock that you can just break apart in your fingers. It's got to be slate, shale, something of that nature. Just chilling here, down at the bottom of the mountain. Anyway, I think we'll wrap that up right there. You can see, remnants of the glacial origin here. There's just a field of granite boulders here. So there is, sedimentary bedrock, but there's certainly big chunks of granite sitting on top of it. Anyway, that'll probably do it for now. I think I'll check back in with you in a bit. The next video I'll make in line of this will just be, that little roadside video. Some interesting stuff to look at. Anyway, take it easy. Come back for the next one, please. I beg you.